After many months of seeing UFOs around my home and gently being nudged by our benevolent sky brothers, as I call them, gentle spiritual beings, I would always go out and take pictures of sky ships, irrelevant of wherever. And one evening I was out there, I think it was on the 17th of March, 2009.
About a year ago.
About a year ago. And I was out there snapping pictures, you know, around the creek and up in the sky. And I saw a light, which I thought was a UFO. And as I snapped and I looked back, I saw these, first there was a few little orbs. And then I kept on snapping the pictures, and it turned into a crescendo of orbs. Anyway, I feel that our spiritual brothers, friends, gentle beings were trying to nudge me into something larger for me to experience. And so on the 17th of March, I was actually in the kitchen, and I was making myself a snack, and to my left I saw a maroon object. It looked like a man in a spacesuit, and I turned around to talk to the man, and he disappeared. And of course I felt rather foolish because he wasn't there.
Right.
Then a couple of days later, I turned around and I was in the kitchen making myself a lunch, and he was there on my right-hand side, and I did the same. Anyway, I asked in a meditation one day to have, you know, the face of the spaceman to be shown to me.
So you knew it was a man, but you couldn't see the face at that point.
That's right. So anyway, I got down on the sofa and did a meditation, and as I was into the meditation, so Jesus' face appeared to me in my meditation.
Wow.
Anyway, I was pretty overwhelmed and was actually stuck to the sofa for, it felt like an eternity. It probably wasn't, but I was fixated to that couch, you know. Obviously I was being downloaded or something.
You saw the face of Jesus as you were lying there on the couch?
Right.
In your mind's eye, or?
That was in my mind's eye. Mm-hmm. The phone rang, I tried to get up. And
you just wanted to stay there?
Well, I couldn't get up. Right. Okay, I was guided by the Sky Brothers to go to the Monday, Thursday service, and I'd never been to a Monday, Thursday service. I mean, you know, anyway, I get there and I told my friend, you know what, I'm going to take a picture in here. She said, no, you can't take a picture in here. And I said, well, I'm not going to do it while the priest's there. I'll do it, you know, on the side. She went, oh, I don't think so. Anyway, so I found a moment when they go out into the room, and I'd never been to one of these services, and I didn't know that they draped the cross with black cloth, and they came out with all black gowns. Anyway, while they snuck in there, I snuck out my camera and took 3 shots of the altar. And when I got home that evening, there were 3 lights in each of the pictures in exactly the same spot. Huh. Now the church, how it is positioned is the sun sets in the west, right, and rises in the east, and so this service was in the evening, so there was no light coming in through the window in front of the altar. A couple of days after that, Mary and I went to the church to take pictures to see what she found in her camera. Anyway, right, there were no lights in her camera at all. And so I was excited about that.
No orbs? No orbs?
There were no orbs in hers.
In hers, right.
In hers, but there were orbs in mine. And I felt the presence of, I call him Yahshua, Jesus. Mm-hmm. as those orbs. Okay, a couple of weeks later, around the 23rd of April, it was around 10:30, and I was going to bed, and I felt an urge or a nudge to go into the TV room, which is on the opposite side of the house that I usually go to bed.
This is upstairs.
Upstairs. And so I flopped down on the futon and looked out into the parking lot and saw a light. And I, moved farther away, and the light would disappear, and I moved back to the middle, and the light was there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd move further back, the light was gone. I ran to my bedroom and tried to spot it from that angle and couldn't spot it. Went back into the TV room, and I thought, well, that light's got to be coming from somewhere.
Right.
And so I glanced up at the sky and noticed one of my friendly friends, the UFO sky ships, and the light was coming off of the sky ship into the parking lot, and all of a sudden,
Sort of like a spotlight shining
it was
down.
like a spotlight,
Mm-hmm.
like a movie camera in the olden days.
Right.
Then I heard, the next instant I heard this on the side of the house. Well, first, actually went stone cold frightened.
Right.
And, but after I calmed down a little bit, I decided, well, obviously I was being nudged to look out the window. Well, I looked out the window, and there was a 30 to 35 foot image of Jesus in the trees.
Wow.
Well, I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to get on my knees, and I just wanted to be forgiven for everything I'd ever done, and all I could hear within my mind was, "My rod and staff shall comfort you." And I think I remember that from Psalm 23.
Right.
And he had beautiful soft hair, chestnut highlights. His beard was dark brown underneath with the chestnut highlights.
Right.
And he was just beautifully glowing with love.
What sort of attire was he wearing?
He had a muslin attire. It looked like it was in 2 different layers, with a cord around the waist, and sort of a vest jacket with no sleeves, and the undergarment had 3/4 sleeves, and then he had a cord around his neck with a pouch dangling from it, where I guess he carried gold, silver, whatever they needed.
Personal
in those
items.
days. Yeah, and he had a rod that was really quite tall above his shoulders, and it was thicker at the top, coming thinner at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had shoes that had a strap over the toes, from small toe to big toe, and then around the back of his heel, and they looked real comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And the soles were thicker, and he stayed there for about 20 to 30 minutes.
Wow, that's a long time. Aside from the initial so-called frozen, frightening moment, how did you feel later? I mean, were there some feelings you had from Yeshua?
I had a lot of peace, a lot of love. Actually, making my life, as of now, doing his work on earth, a whole lot more significant to how I was before my life. All the forgiveness that he has given me, I mean, how would you feel?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
How would you feel?
It was overwhelming.